attentions now to business. Marcus Carlson is here. And Marcus, kicking off with a fresh grilling for Swiss bankers.
Indeed, Laura. Credit Suisse has been answering accusations that it helped American clients avoid US taxes. US senators, they've been grilling executives from the Swiss lender, and that includes the chief executive officer, Brady Dugan. He blames a small group of 10 to 15 bankers for behaving badly. Delana D'Souza has more details.
Hitting back after a scathing report, the CEO of Credit Suisse has taken on the US Senate. It claims the bank helped over 22,000 American customers dodge US taxes. CEO Brady Dugan shifts the blame to a small group of Swiss bankers.
We have invested enormous efforts to achieve as much clarity as possible about whether and to what extent Credit Suisse employees violated US laws. The investigation identified evidence of violation of bank policy and US laws that were centered on a small group of Swiss-based private bankers.
But the CEO also disputed some of the findings of the report. He says the Senate subcommittee assumed that every Swiss account of a US citizen was hidden from the American government. He further added that the bank has implemented reforms which include the requirement for US customers to prove they're paying taxes, as well as tightening its US travel policy for Swiss-based private bankers. The Senate report says offshore tax practices by Credit Suisse and other financial institutions deprived the United States of $337 billion in potential revenue.
Credit Suisse prospered for years by not requiring its U.S. clients to be tax compliant. While it made some changes to its internal policies, it was slow to ensure sufficient compliance by its U.S. account holders.
The Swiss model of banking has been shaken up after a crackdown by the US and Europe on tax evasion. In 2009, rival bank UBS admitted to helping US taxpayers hide assets. The bank paid $780 million in fines.
We're going to turn to Airbus next. Earnings of that company took off last year because of record demand for passenger planes. The plane maker posted full-year profits near €1.5 billion earlier this Wednesday. That's 22% higher than during 2012. Shares, they traded higher as well as Airbus predicted better-looking profits looking ahead. It's also pledging to ramp up production of its most popular aircraft, the A320, by 2016. As passenger planes do well, though, there have been concerns about the military side of Airbus. Chris Bachmann spoke about that and other challenges with the chief financial officer of Airbus in Toulouse earlier.
In terms of the budgets, you're right. I mean, they are not growth perspectives per se. However, the group has a brilliant portfolio of activities. Take the A400M, where we now delivered 2 aircraft in 2013. Take the tanker aircraft, which are now getting into a mature phase, which we delivered to Australia, also to the Middle East, and also having good prospects on this one. However, I mean, we need to drive hard the competitiveness of the programs to increase further export opportunities. We talked that morning about the Eurofighter need to book export orders in order to sustain production rates in the mid to long term.
The euro, you mentioned, I think it's an issue because the volatility. When it's at 135, you can handle it. When it goes above the 140, it's painful. That's not good for you for signing contracts, is it? Because you just don't know where it is. It wobbles.
You're absolutely right. I mean, the dollar issue is always with us, but we've managed it, I think, quite well. In the past, over many years, we increased the dollar content of our cost base significantly. It went from a 320 program from 50% to a 380, 60%, and now on a 350, it's 70%. So that's the most important lever. Then what is left, we hedge. So I go into the market and take financial instruments. And we have a hedge book which is not less than $76 billion. And that gives me protection for 2014, 15, and 16.
Let's take a look at the stock markets next over in the United States. The indices have been heading higher this session. It follows a report that shows an increase in new home sales in the United States, and that is helping out shares over on Wall Street. As you can see, that report was also seen to be boosting European shares towards the end of trading. It wasn't enough, though, to push the markets here in Europe into positive territory. We saw some losses this side of the Atlantic. Let's take a look at a few other business stories that we're following for you. Ukraine's currency has hit a record low as there are fears of more political turmoil in that country. The hryvnia has fallen by around a fifth against the US dollar since the start of the year. Ukraine's central bank has spent billions of dollars in recent weeks to prop up the hryvnia, but its foreign exchange reserves are running low, and it says it's not planning another intervention. Now, despite the government's efforts to lower unemployment here in France, the number of job seekers is increasing. There were another 8,900 people looking for work during the month of January. That brought the number of job seekers to another record high, just north of 3.31 million people. The French government is pledging to cut unemployment by year end. And US retailer Target warns it will continue to feel the pinch of an embarrassing security breach. It comes after hackers stole customer credit card details by targeting card terminals at Target stores during the holiday shopping season. The breach was seen to scare off some customers, and during the fourth quarter, the retailer reported both lower profits and lower sales. It doesn't seem as if investors seem to think that it's too bad, though, or at least perhaps that they could have been a lot worse, because Target shares, they are trading to the upside this session. They're up by around about 7% this hour. And with that, I'm going to send it back to you, Laura.
Marcus, for now, thank you very much indeed. We will, of course, see you in an hour's time for another business update. But now let's bring you up to speed with what's been going on.